Hi everyone, welcome back to our series on two perspectives of addiction. This week's topic is a really rough one for me. The topic is what no one would guess about you. What no one would guess that you're going through. I know in my situation, I'd go out and to family parties or just with friends, and I'd have a smile on my face and I'd engage in conversation, and sometimes I'd even laugh, and that it came across that I was okay and that I was happy and things were getting better and I was moving forward, and that I was okay. What people didn't know is what happened behind closed doors. At the worst part of Tom and I's relationship, I was living with my parents and my two kids, 1 and 2 at the time, and I cried a lot. I cried myself to sleep for months, every single night. I'd have breakdowns where my oldest, 2, he'd come over to me and I'd be on the ground and just a mess, and he'd sit in my lap and say, and he'd rub his little hand on my cheek and he'd say, "Daddy naughty. Mommy, Daddy naughty?" And I'd look at him and say, "No, Daddy not naughty. He just doesn't know what he's doing right now. He's confused." There were times that I couldn't even brush my teeth without crying. I cried a lot in my car, especially when I was on my way to take my kids to see their dad. And I would just say a prayer that everything would be okay, and that I'd be okay, and that I wouldn't say anything I didn't mean. I cried more than I smiled. I cried more than I laughed, more than I played with my kids. And when I think about it, I know a lot of it was because I blamed myself for Tom's relapses, for his behavior. I blamed myself for all of the choices that he had made. At this point, he had had an affair with a girl that he met in rehab. And I blamed myself. I thought, what am I not giving him? What am I not doing for him? Why would he do that? Why would he choose her over me and my kids? His kids. I blamed myself for a long time. And I never told anybody that, because I know what they would say. No, it's not your fault. It's his choices. He's making these decisions on his own. It's nothing you did. But I still felt deep down that it was my fault, and that I could have done something to prevent it. It took me a long time to figure out that it wasn't my fault, and that I didn't cause it, and I didn't cause the affair, and I didn't cause his relapses, and every other decision that he made, that it wasn't my fault. When all of this was going on, I hated who I had become. I was a wife and a mother obsessed with my husband's addiction, completely consumed by his addiction. Nothing else mattered. I think about it the second I went to bed and the first thing when I woke up, his addiction, where he was going to go that day. Even when we weren't together, even when we were separated and I was living with my parents, I'd wake up thinking about his addiction. I wonder where he's going today. Will I hear from him? Is he going to call and ask about the kids? Am I going to get that call saying that he's no longer around? That the addiction finally took him and took his life? Every single day. These are things I didn't share with anybody because I didn't have anybody who understood what I was going through, who understood the hell of addiction. I had lots of support, lots of friends and family, but nobody that understood exactly what I was going through. Nobody. And so these are things that no one knew about me. Like I said, I went out and acted like I was okay and that things were getting better and I was moving forward and I was okay with everything happening. But I was actually dying inside. I know this is the case for a lot of you. And I want to know. I want to know the things that you're going through, what you're dealing with that no one else would guess about you. I know this may be hard to share, but it might help somebody who is also going through this hell of addiction